What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. Now, most people would say that I have so many statues of Wonder Woman at this point that I can make a dedicated shrine in my house, and that's probably true. But as long as they keep making these statues, I'm gonna have to review them, so that's just the way it is, guys. So I think it's pretty clear that one of the big winners of 2017 was definitely Wonder Woman. And it goes without saying that this was a huge year for women in general, especially what was going on socially and the Me Too movement. Things are really changing in Hollywood, and I think the effects are starting to take hold. If there's one thing that we can kind of summarize about 2017 in terms of a pop culture icon for women, it's definitely Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. And one of the great things about the way these manufacturers are making them is that they are making them in various poses, and I think that's one of the reasons that people are collecting them. So today we're going to be taking a look at Icon Heroes Wonder Woman collectible statue. Let's take a closer look. Now, one of the parameters that I look at in every statue is price point versus the overall value and what you're getting. And here, although I'm very disappointed in the head sculpt, you have to remember that this figure only retails for about $54.99, so you have to compromise a little bit. Now, it's not the worst head sculpt in the world, but it's certainly not the best that I've ever seen. It's a little bit sloppy, but the thing that really breaks this statue for me is definitely the eyes. They're a little bit cross-eyed, and it looks really funny. But then again, guys, you do have to take into consideration the price point here. Now, the upper section and the torso of this figure fares much better. I actually like the sculpt. It's done very well. The paint job is at least perfect here, but it does have other problems in certain other spots. I love the finish of this. It's done in a very high gloss, and the armor looks pretty realistic, so overall it was a pretty good job. I especially like the sculpt in her shoulders, her arms, and especially in her clavicle and her neck. It looks really well done here. Another very cool aspect of this figure is definitely in her gauntlets or her bracelets. They're done really well. I especially like the finish, the silver finish that they did, but they went a little bit further, which is a little bit peculiar, but they also did a wash and some really great shading. Overall, it was done really well, and you know, it's kind of like mixed for some reason. Some parts are really well done, and then other parts are kind of sloppy. The lower section of this figure is done really well, however, and I really like what they did with the skirt here. The folds look great. I especially like the sculpt. It looks very organic, especially when you see how the skirt meets her leg lines. It's especially amplified because they got the flesh tones just perfect. Now, this statue is a bit of a curiosity because they did really great job on certain aspects, but other aspects they kind of screwed up. The lasso here looks incredibly detailed, which you would think would be the last thing if they had to sacrifice on anything. The sword is also pretty well done. Unfortunately, the detail is not there, especially when it comes to the handle and the hilt. It has a perfect length relative to the statue, but unfortunately, it's done very sloppy in terms of the paint job and the overall sculpt. I mean, just look at that. The two twin stallions there look very, I don't know. They're kind of an eyesore. But I think the fact that we have this stance is really what you buy this statue for. It is very unique. The spear is done pretty well, though, I have to admit. It runs the whole length of the statue. But again, one of the things that sets this thing apart, or really sets it back, is the fact that the paint job is done so sloppy that it is kind of an eyesore. Now, here's the thing, though. You will only notice it if you're really up close to the statue and really looking at its imperfections, but they are notable, and really you can see it here where the hand meets the actual spear. I mean, this is just an incredibly sloppy job, unfortunately. Now, one of the aspects in which this statue really shines is definitely in the stance. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that she has one of her feet or one of her legs forward and the other one kind of behind her. It really is epic, and they did a really good job on the actual boots. I love the gold trim, especially the red color. There's also a nice wash on it. It's just really, really powerful, and it has a commanding presence nevertheless. Even though it has all those small imperfections, I think you really get this statue because of the stance and the uniqueness of the overall piece. And again, adding to the overall bizarre nature of this piece, one of the things that strikes me is that the reverse side of this figure is actually more detailed than the front, which is really weird. Although I do have to say that hair sculpt is hideous, guys. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about it. It looks freaking atrocious. But I do have to say certain aspects of the reverse side are done very well, particularly with the shield. There's a lot of detail there. So, you know what? I don't know if I can recommend you using a mirrored back here because the hair looks so horrible. but the reverse side really amplifies the shield. I especially like the way that she's holding the spear behind her back. It looks really cool. Now the base here is done really well, and mostly because of its simplicity of design. It's very simple. I don't know how else to put it. It's just a round base, and I like that it's all black because it really emphasizes the feet or the boots of the figure. And you know what? Sometimes you just gotta go the simple route, guys. This looks absolutely beautiful just the way it is. Now, one of the cool things about this statue is the fact that it is a numbered piece. Now, there's a lot of them. There's around 2,000 of them, and I have number 1310. It does come with this really nice certificate of authenticity. It says Icon Heroes on it, it says Wonder Woman, and it reads Wonder Woman Movie Collectible Statue, which is pretty cool, and it's nice to have this. Now ultimately guys, this piece is a bit of a conundrum for me. While I like that it's very inexpensive at $54.99, you do get what you pay for, and there is a lot of sloppiness in the statue, but I have to say one of the things that I do like about it, and one of the reasons you would buy this, is for its very unique stance and the fact that she's wielding both weapons at the same time. But just keep in mind guys, this is not the highest quality that there is out there, but I still recommend it even though it does have some flaws. Now before I go, I just want to thank the folks over at Big Bad Toy Store for sending this wonderful piece over for review. And if you're interested in this and other collectibles, please visit www.bigbadtoystore.com. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on the Icon Heroes Wonder Woman collectible statue. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.